Hello, hello, DotFit family. I'm Kat Bearfield. I'm your registered dietitian, head of nutrition services, and of course, we are hosting our monthly product of the month webinar as free education for you guys. We're super excited to talk about this new product today. Just some housekeeping rules. You are in what's called listen-only mode, so that will be quality recording for later on. You're going to be able to ask as many questions as you would like. And we do that through our questions tab within the GoToWebinar window. You just have to open up that questions section area. You'll be able to type that in. We'll field those all at the end. I think Neil's got about 20 to 30 minutes worth of science for you guys. And I think he also has some other stuff up his sleeve in regards to new products. So without further ado, Neil, take it away.
All right, well, listen, this has been a long time coming. It's been one of the top requests in the history of our business. I'd have to say that at the beginning is when can you put the Creatine XXXL into powder? And it's been a long time coming, so we finally been able to do it because, you know, a lot of it just has to do with the uniformity, you know, throughout that when you have, you know, multiple ingredients like that. But got it all done. It's finished, and so we get to talk about it now. And I made some changes with it in removing some of the ingredients that really weren't enough, like glycine, that really weren't enough to really do anything. They were all kind of left over from the old Apex volumizer that we had put in there, which opened up a lot more room for serving for the glutamine, as you'll see. And not only that, it's just a fantastic standalone product. And of course, now the way it is also allows you to, you know, use it in the stackings, much easier to use in the stacking programs now with creatine monohydrate itself and glutamine as well. And, you know, and also extremely economical as a standalone. And you can kind of, being a powder, you can kind of adjust the thing any way you really want it to get done. So, you know, just regular stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to really get, you already know all the science of creatine, beta-alanine, and glutamine anyway. So but I do, because this is a webcast and it's a downloadable feature for you guys to be able to train your staff. If you're going to do a product of the month, you'd want to use this because it's only going to be 20 minutes of the stuff about the product. And then we spend the rest of the time doing questions and answers with all of you. So I will just, you know, there's a lot of stuff on the slides I don't need to talk about because all of you have already seen it, whether it's been through the certification or been through one of other big videos that we have on each one of these products. But I do have it all covered a little bit, so I'll glance over all of that stuff as well. Okay, so here it is, Extreme Creatine XXL in the powder form. Finally. All right, so let's get started with it. And by the way, you know, as you know, all the links are hot. They're all attached to your practitioner dietary supplements guide. So your Extreme Creatine XXXL Plus is on the website now. Okay, so I always start any performance nutrition, because this is something I do in lectures. I always say, what's the goal of them and everything else? And it's very simple, as you know, the goal. And the reason I'm looking over this way, because I got a bigger screen up here, it's easier to look at. The goal, of course, is that whatever you use is better than not using it, and when everything else is equal. So make sure, I always think about this. What's baseline supplementation? Let's see if anybody can give me the answer to what I call baseline supplementation for performance. What is baseline? If someone can do that, type it in somewhere. I'll send you 3 containers of Creatine XXL for free. Baseline supplementation. If you've been on my webinars, you know what that is. In other words, I don't give anybody performance products until I know this is covered. So whoever does that will get 3. Did I say 3 or 4? Okay, I'll give you 4 if you get that to me. So type that in for Kat. Okay, but whatever we use, it should improve performance or size outcomes when compared to a non-supplemented state. All right, and it goes, the whole idea is to continually accrue gains. And there's 2 objectives really when it gets right down to this. One is to increase the acute performance. So when you take it, you have a better workout, better competition result, whatever it means. So that's the acute performance, but also the adaptation potential for the next day because you did more work. And these are the 4 evidence, or I should say 3 evidence-based on the top, and 4 that we don't talk about, but they're carbohydrate, obviously, is the very first, probably most powerful ergogenic aid ever discovered. Nitrate falls in that category, and then, of course, sodium bicarbonate is another buffering agent. But those are also fall into the evidence-based category. So 3 are the one thing we're talking about there. The second piece of performance nutrition should be to enhance recovery. And recovery is a long period of time, obviously. You know, you can do all types of things very well, have great training, but the recovery thing is all about finding those gains down the road. And maybe it's further than 12 weeks, 14 weeks, 24 weeks, a year, whatever it may be. You want to recover as much as possible, but those gains are a little bit different than those acute gains from the first day of the workout when you start taking something. But the bottom line is you want to speed recovery through minimizing protein breakdown and maximizing synthesis. All right, and of course, these are the products that are evidence-based for that. And you see glutamine being conditional. Because glutamine really, if you really dig into the science of it, it is something that is used under highly stressful conditions. And of course, elite athletes are highly stressful conditions. So that's why I call it conditional. You know, it's not one of those ones you just kind of throw out there, hey, this is going to speed recovery for like one of your, standard workout people in the gym, one of the clients you're working with. So that's why I put it conditional. But anyway, so goal one, objective one for performance products, any kind of supplement, is to increase the acute performance immediately, and then that opens up to your adaptation potential. In other words, you've done more, maybe you've done a little more structural damage, you've worked harder, so now you want to recover and maximize the adaptation. So that's real simple. So at the end of the day, the desired outcome of using supplements is to a greater prolonged accrual of gains than if you didn't use a supplement. And that's how you become evidence-based, when you meet that criteria. And these, of course, do. So here it is, CreatineXXXL. And I just put all the little bullets up here. You guys already know. It's got the big three: beta-alanine, creatine, glutamine, to increase strength, power, and muscle endurance, and more recovery. Now, obviously, better workouts, better recovery, more gains. That's what we're looking at right here. But if the bottom line is, and this is really important, it's a non-stimulant anic environment enhancer to train harder, longer, and recover better, but non-stimulant. And that allows a couple of things. One, there are people that can't use NO7, right? NO7 rage. Well, now you've got something that you can use that's got all the top ingredients in it. And then if you want to use your own stimulant, whatever it may be, whether it be, whether it be one of the monster drinks or whatever, because you've got a particular one, or just you drink coffee. Then whatever it may be, you can also add your own somehow, any way you would like. So this really makes this a really cool product all the way around. And so this is the summary, and that's really about it. The rest of it here, we just kind of get into it. So what's the goal? Well, I had a couple of goals when I kind of reformulated the whole thing. One, NSF certify it, so that's one, right? Monohydrate with creatine, beta-alanine, of course, we already know what they do. There are positive effects on muscle size, performance, recovery, but also being stimulant-free. Okay, well, of course, CreatineXXL was as well. But it also allows, you can achieve effective dosing of all three ingredients, all right? Now, because they are all supplied in a clinically effective dosage. And they also, all three of them are practitioner raw materials, which means they are the highest quality. They've got patents on them. They're unique. So we didn't buy these things in Taiwan or China or something. These are the best raw materials you can get for creatine, which is from Germany. And then we got the beta-alanine, of course, here, carnosine, and then we have our kerosene. What is it? Carnosine is the name of it. Well, I know it's actually, carnosine. It's just a different spelling. That's what it is, carnosine, right? And then, of course, the dipeptide glutamine. Okay, so again, just a summary at the bottom: non-stimulant formula to improve strength, performance, muscle building, training outcomes by creating a better anabolic environment. So that's the goal of the product. Rationale is very simple. I don't need to go into creatine for all of you, but obviously these three here individually have been shown to improve training results or recovery, right? And that's all in your practitioner dietary supplement guide. And compared to individual usage, co-ingested may synergistically create an additive training effect. So that's what I'm going to show you as you go through here. So if you look at creatines, we all know creatine's mechanisms of action. Bottom line is that's our first energy source for all of our bursts and so forth. So what we're trying to do is increase the amount of muscle creatine and then speed the regeneration between bouts of jumping, running, lifting, whatever we may do. And this little diagram you have, of course, in your PDSRG kind of just shows you how it works all the way through. And without a doubt, this was the biggest breakthrough in sports for so long, creatine. It has been. And nothing's even come close to it as an ergogenic aid at this point, other than caffeine, of course. Caffeine we talked about before. That's a different, sort of a different type, and obviously a completely different mechanism. And of course, this really translates to any athlete. These are the beneficiaries of anybody that uses creatine, any adult athlete, trying to improve training outcomes related to muscle, improving strength or power activities, and how they translate to a sport. So your intermittent athletes, when I use that term, I want you all to remember, those are what we call team sports, intermittent athletes. They do, sudden bursts of anaerobic energy, and then there's periods of rest, and then bursts again, jumping, any of those type of things. So football, hockey, basketball, any of those type of things, and as long as the weight gain is not a problem for people, then this is the type of thing that you would, that creatine, of course, is made for. But there's some other things. There's some people that have naturally low creatine biosynthesis or naturally low creatine intake, like the vegan athlete, and they have the highest response to creatine without a doubt. And then, of course, just basically, if you got someone in there that you're working with, I always love to give this to a client, give someone that's just bored with their workouts, tired with their workouts, but they do it because they know they have to. Do a 12-week stint with creatine. The stuff will make a difference for almost anybody. And then as we're seeing now, the older athletes, for sure, if they want a little more healthy aging, you're seeing creatine is really part of that sports nutrition being the new healthy aging. You're seeing a lot of older people using them just regularly without even working out, because it can actually help stave off the loss of muscle. So there's creatine's mechanism of actions, beta-alanine. So beta-alanine, interesting, again, the idea here, and whoever can answer this question before I do, I'll send you 4. So you got to make sure that are these as well. Okay, now, so why don't we just take carnosine? Because what we're trying to do in the muscle is increase carnosine, right? That's what we do to help buffer that lactate by a different mechanism, creatine, because creatine buffers it as well. But beta-alanine buffers it differently. And what we're trying to do is increase the carnosine, because that works, as you can see from this diagram here. All right, so why don't we just do carnosine? Because you can make that, you can drink that, and that'd be fine. So let's see if I'll give you 20 seconds for someone to type in why we use beta-alanine and we can't just use straight carnosine. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000.
Go ahead and use the questions tab to enter in the, and by the way, Neil, in terms of your question about baseline, we had several people weigh in with Jason Aubrey, the first person to get baseline, which is multi-omega protein, right?
Oh, you got it. I gotta give him 4. Dang it, Jason.
Good job. We had some people.
I feel like I'm bringing sand to the beach when I do that, because I know you guys sit pro rewards. You guys got more subs than you know what to do with. But these are great. They'll give you nice samples for you, so they're on the way.
There you go. Okay, so we have.
Okay, so on this one, anybody get it?
Yep.
They did.
Dan Bingaman weighed in. It just said buffering of lactic acid.
Right. That's what we're doing with it. But why can't we just give you carnosine? Why can't I just, because we make carnosine. You can make it. You can actually buy it somewhere. But why wouldn't we give you that to buffer the lactic acid? What happens if we ingest it? Because, I mean, that's what we're trying to do. All we're doing with beta-alanine is increasing the carnosine level in the muscle. That's what we're doing. Why aren't we going straight carnosine like we do with creatine?
Anyone want to take a guess? Anyone know?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one if you haven't read everything like in the PDSRG. Okay, so time's up. All right, so because we got to go on. So beta-alanine is like the Trojan horse. What happens is if you take carnosine straight, you have enzymes on the outside of the muscle that won't let it in. It metabolizes it, so it never gets inside. Okay, but beta-alanine goes straight into the muscle and is converted through another enzyme system into carnosine. So there you have it. Okay, so in the muscle cells, beta-alanine combines with amino acid histidine, create carnosine. That's why I had to put it up after. And of course, this has a completely different buffering system now. It sequesters protons. So different buffering system than creatine. So now you get a kind of double whammy there, which is why you see these schemes combined quite often. So obviously it's the same potential beneficiaries. Okay, so co-ingestion. All right, so obviously I think you've already figured that out, deliver an additive performance effect by combining their respective mechanisms of action. And of course, creatine, we just talked about, beta-alanine, intercellular pH buffer, as Binghamton got here. And so between the two different mechanisms and of course, increasing creatine, we get that. So what I did is I looked up as many studies I could find where you see the two. Not too many studies have ever tested one against the other one to see it additive, but I did find some, as you can see here. So it does seem to contribute an additive effect. And the dosing was kind of it wasn't even that much, because if you look at all of those studies that I cited here, they were all between 5 and 10 grams of creatine, which is basically a maintenance dose, and then 3.2 of beta-alanine. And they were additive to creatine alone or beta-alanine alone. We do know that there's enough information to say that together they can help each other. All right, so go to glutamine very quickly. Obviously, the main effect of glutamine, at least if you kind of go back and you look at all the science today, it's an immunonutrient. In other words, during times of stress, glutamine, everybody wants it. Every part of the body wants glutamine. It is the most ubiquitous amino acid in the body, and it is constantly being drained during stress. So the immune system is one of the things that completely goes to pot when you're really going through stress. And during cell growth, survival times, during depletion, brought on by stress, glutamine is just drained from the muscles, drained from the glutamine pool. I got a little diagram here for you. So the rationale is pretty simple. Replenishing glutamine during times of depletion caused by rapid growth, tissue repair, other high metabolic demands, particularly when combined, and this is a big one, with prolonged energy restriction. We've been recommending it to bodybuilders and other physique athletes or wrestlers or boxers or anybody trying to make weight when they're dieting severely, because so often they'll end up getting sick, and glutamine can make the difference in the immune support during that period of time, especially during any diet stress combined with exercise stress. Okay, so these are the mechanisms of action. If you go back to your PDSRG, I spent a lot of time on glutamine because it's a very interesting nutrient. And now you're looking at almost all of our professional teams that we work with, baseball, football, basketball, they're ordering it now and keeping it in the locker rooms so all the players can get it anytime they want. So it's become extremely popular. I put this diagram, I found this here. I kind of hijacked it, but it's pretty neat. It just shows you the glutamine pool. And there's, what happens when through stress, everything, as you can see, everybody wants glutamine. The whole body is begging for it. Help me, help me, help me. And you can see it doesn't meet the demand. It cannot, your glutamine pool cannot meet the demand when you are going through all this type of stress. And it's very common during surgery for them to actually intravenously have glutamine coming into your body during that time. I put this at the bottom for all of you, even though this is in the PDSRG under Muscle Defender glutamine. I put this in here because when I wrote this last year, when I went to this, and this is a long process, I looked at every glutamine study to find out what is the ideal dosing. So I actually put it in here for you by pound, for all you psychos out there that need to nail it that way. And I looked at all of the successful glutamine ones and found that there was a huge range there, but there was a lot to do with the range. It really depended on the severity of the reason it was being used. But up to 40 grams under post-surgical conditions, I saw a lot of that. Otherwise, but always taken, before and split before and during after exercise, and another one maybe before bed. So if you go to those pages, you'll get a very good summary of how to use this thing. Okay, and then so let's go look at all three co-ingestion. All right, the rationale, obviously, I think we've already figured that out. Beta-alanine and creatine together or alone significantly increase your strength output, allowing greater workouts, and that makes a pretty good case for glutamine to contribute to recovery, including its ability to stimulate glycogen synthesis. That's another thing I didn't bring up here, but again, in power athletes, that's not as important. For better, stronger training, so that justifies the recovery. And then you've got, of course, creatine and glutamine are both cell volumizers, and this is another big part of it there. That's what I like about the new formula now, because remember, we had a very small amount of glutamine in the XXXL tablets. Again, because otherwise you'd be taking 30 tablets to get the right dosages. So now that we've got 7 grams in a serving, we're getting a much more volumizing effect. And both creatine and glutamine have well-known cell volumizers. And of course, by volumizing, it's one thing to be an osmolyte, but it's another thing, to regulate regular cell homeostasis. But also, the cell volumizing causes pressure inside the cell and sends a continual signal for protein synthesis. So that's another important aspect of the new formula, because the dosage is enough to pull that off now. All right, so a quick summary. We'll get to you guys' questions here. Alone together, they safely improve training events. No problem there, we know that. And it's a standalone product. So two daily servings. So it just says one scoop is a serving. And there's a reason, by the way, you guys know better than to, every once in a while, always go to the PDSRG to find the real servings, because from a legal standpoint, there's things we can't do by pounds, and there's things, because that's just the rule, they feel people can't do the math to figure out how much they should use. I like to do everything by body weight for anybody that we work with, whether you're an elite athlete or anyone, period. So everything in the PDSRG is good. We just can't put that on the label. And then NSF gets really funky. They don't want you to have any more than a certain amount in a serving. I mean, so that's why you'll see some of the instructions a little bit strange or different than what I'm telling you often. But the bottom line is 2 scoops is 5 grams, 3.2 beta-alanine, 7. So that makes it a 30-day supply if you're going to use it every day, because you have to if you're going to use that to keep you don't take a day off with it, because you can't take a day off from creatine if you're going to be using that to maintain your creatine levels. Now, so you've got that, and that's a good standalone right there. And 5 grams of creatine is maintenance, 3.2 of beta-alanine is maintenance, and 7 grams of glutamine is enough to get the effect that we're looking for. Other benefits, this is what we were talking about, you can increase the 2 serving recommendation based on weight or need. Okay, I wouldn't go more than 4 grams. The reason I wouldn't go more than 4 servings is strictly because the beta-alanine, you'll get some real tingling if you get up that high with it. But the good news is it's nice and uniform. So when you go to 3 scoops, or you go to 4 scoops, you're still in a great place there with everything. And of course, the other part, like I told you earlier, contains no stimulants. Therefore, as a pre-workout supplement, anybody that's adverse to stimulants, you're good to go. But on the other side, you put in your favorite energy component if there's something else you prefer to do. And it also fits in perfectly with our stacking programs, which I'll show you at the end. So when you want to combine it with NO7, you want to combine it with just creatine to get more creatine without getting too much beta-alanine, because you can't keep taking up the beta-alanine. There's a real simple way to combine all this stuff. Okay. Typical use with the beneficiaries, we already talked about them. The typical creatine beta-alanine beneficiaries. Anyone trying to improve training outcomes related to increasing muscle strength, and of course any other power activities. And don't forget that those are the ones that translates over to our intermittent athletes. Same thing here. We talked about anybody that's just got low intake, such as the vegan athlete, and perfect for your stacking protocols, and very economical. So we'll probably take a hit on this. It's very economical because it's a standalone product, and you can adjust it as desired. And yes, and again, without stimulants, so you can add your own. That was already in there. Unique features, I already told you this. This is the big one here, though. Like I said, we're a practitioner. All our ingredients are practitioner ingredients. So you've got all 3 of them here coming from a very special place. Doesn't get a whole lot better than this. And of course, for you guys who don't remember Creapure, the difference there is there's no creatinine in it, where almost every creatine you buy and almost every manufacturer buys creatine from China. And it's loaded with creatinine. So it takes a heck of a lot more to get the same result, and it's not as clean, not even close. And ours is totally vegan friendly. That's the other part that's really cool, which I'm getting to. And of course, NSF certified for sport. You guys have been wanting that forever. We were just holding off until we got the powder done. So it's a little less expensive to do the powder than it is to do tablets. It's really expensive to do tablets with a lot of stuff in it. Like the multivitamin cost a fortune to get that stuff done. More ingredients, the more it costs to get done. You're in the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to NSF certify a product. You have to remember that. And that's what adds that little bit of cost to each one of them there. But as you know, it's worth it. It separates you from everybody else. is the fact we third-party test everything, and most of the stuff we also NSF certified for sport, which is a fourth-party test that goes to another level. Even though a third party's already got it covered, this test, they won't accept it in pro sports unless it is NSF certified, so we have to go to another one for that. Okay, and of course, you know the rest. Oh, the taste, that's right. What is it again? I know, I got it right here. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I know, it's raspberry lemonade. I always forget what it's called. So it's the same as the creatine, right? I got Chad in here. It's the same as the creatine, and it is really good, no question. But we wanted to make it somewhat neutral so that it kind of you can mix it with your pre-workout, post-workout. And it is really good. And of course, you guys obviously know I don't need creatine anymore. I only need it to help stave off the loss of muscle. I don't work out hard enough to deserve anything these days. I can only do so much these days. Okay, but anyway, yeah, it's really good. And by the way, I have to admit something here. We screwed up. That doesn't happen all the time, but it happens. We forgot to put the flavor on the label. Okay, so it is raspberry lemonade, and the label. So he's having the labels printed now, so we'll have stickers on this. But when you'll be able to order starting December 5th, and you definitely want to get them in, order them. And the first grouping may not have the label on it yet, but the second grouping will. So we apologize for that. I don't know how we missed that. I guess we were just so excited, we just had to get it out. All right, and it's vegan friendly. So that's a big one. You know, I'm doing the best I can to be as vegan friendly as possible with everything. You know, we have the vegan bar coming out. We just signed off on the flavor and the taste. We're just trying to get the calories down a little bit. Much higher in calories to get protein when you do something vegan. So that's on the vegan bar. The vegan amino boost, we've signed off on that as well. But that's got to go through NSF and everything else. So that's still like 16 weeks out. Just want to get you to know that. But we have something else coming up. Okay, so here we go. Dosing again. As a standalone, 2 scoops is all you really need. You see the dosage there. 5 grams, 3.2, and 7, so you're good. Now, again, those are maintenance doses. So what that means, it takes up to 28 days to get fully saturated with creatine. And beta-alanine, by the way. It's only about 4 weeks, too, to get fully saturated with them. So, but that's good. I like that slow growth rather than having a pound. We just have to, rather than having the load. Loading, the only thing we have to load very often, and of course powerlifters do it for their events or whatever it may be, but you don't have to do that. Most of your clinical trials with creatine, the vast majority of them, you do load, so we have to obviously put down whatever the evidence-based stuff is there. But you will get there easily within 4 weeks with this dosage here with your full load of creatine. Unless you're a big person, then you're probably going to need, like I say, 10. I like 10 grams it covers everybody. 10 grams is a maintenance dose of creatine. But 3.2 is really good with beta-alanine. Of course, double that is 6.4. And a lot of the good studies of beta-alanine's strongest results are somewhere around there, 6. Well, that allows us to do the stacking that we'll look at as well. So here you go here, and this just tells you how to take it. It's pretty simple. You would figure that out. 1 scoop before training and 1 after. So there's your 2 scoops, and then on non-training days, you take 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. Just want to spread it out as much as possible. Okay, so that's a standalone. And then again, adjust as you want. Maybe it's 3 scoops a day. You know, you just figure that out. That's what's nice about powders like that. All right, safety, follow instructions, perfectly safe. Looked at everything. And don't forget, your practitioner dietary supplement reference guide has all the safety information, and you should be very proud of that. And the reason I say that, no one in the world does that. Nobody. You'll never, ever find anything like that anywhere that shows adverse events, contraindications, precautions, any drug mixtures, any of that. And that takes like days and days for each product to be able to go through all the medical databases for any possible subpopulations, adverse event to taking anything. So that's always in there. And of course, no one does it because you don't have to. It's a dietary supplement, but we do, which is why we became the biggest supplier in the sport and fitness channel for supplements. Okay. All right, so here's the loading program. So I put this up here. Now, Kat, you have these up there where they can find them on the site now, right?
Yeah, they will. Once we launch on the 5th, we're going to include all the stacking programs, a new URL with the stacking programs, as well as full marketing stuff.
Okay, so we'll send that out to everybody. And by the way, you guys, you know, I know how emails work. We send you guys out all this stuff. If we send one, it's important. We're not just sending you like a bodybuilding picture of me or something. We're sending you something really important. So, you know, take a look at it. There's something new, an update that will, you know, affect your career, your family, all that stuff. So make sure you look at it. Check your junk boxes. I get important emails going to my junk box. I can't even release the filter on it these days. So just make sure that you have a way of communicating with us regularly, because we want to get all of the information we can out to you on time. Because people ask us for stuff that we've already sent you, and I know that it's just difficult for you guys to stay up with stuff. That's our job to do it. But just make sure if we send something, it'll be important, just so you know that. Anyway, so you guys, this is an eye chart here. But bottom line is this shows you how to use it now, the new creatine, extreme creatine, with creatine monohydrate. This is how you use it with NO7, exactly to the T, including the milligram amounts and everything else. And here is the super stack, where you get jacked, stacked, and Big Mac. So this one you got to be careful with. It's dangerous. Anyway, so there it is. Now, by the way, the appendix here, Kat, it's just all about a bunch of stuff, because we have a complete certification video on this product, which is very long. It's about 15 minutes or so. That's the PowerPoint that accompanies it, where it has all the references and everything else. I just put it in the appendix for you guys. So when you download it, you have it. You don't have to look at it. The part we just did is the brief all the way through. Okay, so we're good. Oh, I forgot. Hang on. One more thing. This will be out when? Middle of December. Check it out. Dot Fit wafer bars. So we've got vanilla and chocolate. Thank Chad for that. Finally got them. Yay. This is the one I was telling you, my wife, and I know almost all of you guys have met my wife, because most of you guys are ranchers on the phone here. This is what she does. She goes out and buys these wafer bars, obviously not Dot Fit, and hides them in a drawer. So I go, okay, that's it. When your wife's cheating on you, okay, you got to go make one. So, but they are the hottest things going today, is these wafer bars. And they're really more expensive, unfortunately. Yeah.
Neil, can you share with us what are the macros on those wafer bars?
What are they, Chad? Okay, now you're making me put my glasses on.
Yes, please.
So we got 12 grams of carbs, but only 4 sugars. So we have that out there, 1 gram, and then 15 grams of protein. So that's our magic formula, is always 15 grams of protein, but it is 240 calories. So I will tell you that, but at least we got 15 grams of protein in it.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so a couple things that Neil said that you may or may not have caught. And that is that we are releasing the new powdered Extreme Creatine XXXL on Wednesday, December 5th. I know Josh Wheeler, he's joining us today, Neil. He wrote in and asked. So Josh, Josh Wheeler. Yes. Okay,
here it is. And the reason we're doing it December 5th is because it's Nelson's birthday. He happens to be here right now.
We'll take it.
I just said that. No, December 5th, though. We got to be all ready to go.
Okay. So what you guys have ahead of time is on the website, under your trainer account, in the practitioner dietary supplement reference guide, which you can get from, access to it from your trainer account. We've already posted that section on Extreme Creatine XXXL. And the stacks that Neil just shared with you in terms of how to stack it with creatine mono or amino and even NO7 for the whole jacked stack, that's in the P section, right? So that's available for you right now.
Okay.
Be creating some other special resources for you as well that will launch on the 5th, but those are open right now. In addition, in the handouts section of the GoToWebinar window, there are 2 resources for you. One is today's presentation, which you can share, download with your colleagues and your staff. And the second one is a 1-pager. It's sort of a consumer-facing marketing handout that a lot of you already have that I've seen in clubs that Rob Rettman put together. So that's available for you to download. And Rob put together just this whole, deck of our products with images that look really nice. So I think those are also on the website. So we're super excited about this product. NSF certified for sport, no stimulants at all, right? Even though you might get some tingling. And we would love to answer all of your questions today on the webinar. Now, I'm going to sort of see if I can experiment with a poll. So let me see if you guys if I can launch this poll, if I can share it, if you guys can answer the poll.
Is Josh still on, Wheeler?
Let's see here. Do you see the poll on your screen, Neil? Oh, yeah. I see it coming up. Okay, so the attendees, Josh, are you still here? Let me see. Drop off.
He is off?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, well, the problem with that was I was going to send him 15 of these because,
Oh my God.
because he's got that new gym chain out there that he's running,
Yeah.
and so I thought I'd send him one for each one, but he's not there. I can't believe it.
But he was the majority of the time. He just dropped off recently, so you're going to have to send it anyways, Neil. All right,
Okay.
There's other people on this webinar too, so if you feel like...
And I will. Listen, I got them all. I'll get them all one way or the other.
Okay. All right, so the poll was, have you used either Creatine Monohydrate or Creatine XXXL? 83% of the people on this webinar said yes, so that's really good to know. In the meantime, while we're taking these polls and collecting information, if you have a specific question you want to ask Neil, just go ahead and type it in the question section, and we will stay as long as you want. Okay, so
I just got to make sure there's not a million people on here, because what I'm going to do is I just want to make sure I can have the number and make sure I can afford it. I want anybody that's on here, send me your email to chad@dotfit.com, and we will send you a bottle for free.
Right? Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Wants one. So right here, there it is. Chad, CHAD @dotfit.com with your address, where you want it sent to, and we'll send you one.
Awesome.
Wow. You guys are cool.
You got quite a few people on, Neil. I should have probably warned.
I know. We're going to go broke.
Okay.
Fire me.
We see some more questions coming in, so keep typing your questions. I'm going to do one more poll for you guys. Okay, there we go. Good answer. We would appreciate your response. Good. Collecting responses. Nice. And you can choose multiple, by the way, if you didn't notice that. Do you see the poll on your screen, Neil?
No, I don't. Let me see. Hang on.
Which products do you use as a quote-unquote pre-workout?
No, I don't. Her poll must be closed to enable.
Oh, gotcha. So let me share with the.
Yeah, you can just take over the screen. Yeah, because I don't need to look at that guy anymore on the screen.
I got it on mine. So guess what? As a pre-workout so far, we have 66% of the people on the webinar voting. The most popular so far pre-workout product is Amino Boost. No surprise, right?
No surprise at all. And it's so funny because it's a non-stimulant, but there is something. I mean, well, first of all, we know the recovery is night and day. I mean, that's one of those recovery products where you notice the next day you're just less sore all the time, and then the accruing benefit of being, of healing a little more each workout than you normally would 2, 3, 4 weeks from now. You're starting to see some real tangible gains.
Yeah.
So that is an absolutely amazing product.
Well, and then it's a tie between NO7 Rage and Workout Extreme, with 72% of the people voting on the call right now. So,
so that's another thing, though. That's an interesting thing, because you can use Workout Extreme as your pre-workout with this now, because there's no stimulants in it. Or NO7, of course, you can't do that. You use Workout and NO7 together, and you're going to run your head through a wall. So you could add Workout Extreme the way you want to, and you get the other side of the whole thing. Yeah, that's kind of your own NO7.
Absolutely, and exactly, and you can dose it real accurately, right?
Yeah, that's what I love about this. I mean, this product here is just, and as I was writing the practitioner dietary supplement reference guide on it, I was just getting more and more excited all the time, thinking about just the flexibility of this product, and how it really can be used with other stuff or standalone, of course. But it is pretty amazing. but and then without the stimulants. So that's kind of the cool thing.
Cool.
Because you can ask.
Okay, so Neil, the questions are pouring in. So let's just get started with getting some answers for our champions here on the call. Okay, first one pouring in. Let's see here. Let me get to it, guys. Give me 1 second. Jason wants to know, what would be the minimum age that one can use this product?
Okay, that's such a common question with everything. It's going to say, like all of our products do, no one under 18, right? And that is it. And as you know, because you guys are all my buddies, it's a CYA. We have to cover our ass from a legal standpoint because ethically, there are very few, if any, studies on certain dietary supplements and pregnant females, youth, for obvious ethical reasons. So you can't just can't say it's okay, and you can't just say do it, because there's always going to be that sort of parental issue, and again, I always make that comment about someone tripping over a bottle of creatine and you get sued because it was a 16-year-old and they never, so it had nothing to do with the creatine, they tripped over a bottle. And again, that's just a crude analogy of what I'm kind of saying here. So the answer is, if it's your kids, it's another situation. If it's your kids, then I would say anytime you're, post-puberty, usually at 16 for a guy, and maybe 15 for a female, you're fine with these things. And if you look at the ISSNs, who's really the sort of end-all be-all when it comes to evidence-based research on science, when it comes to sports nutrition, the International Society of Sports Nutrition, the thing is that they say the same thing. I mean, I just found our first study on 12-year-olds using creatine. So it was a soccer group. They put them on creatine for a period of time. We know it's safe. We know from a physiological fact in the body, the way it works, it's safe. And we give it to newborns, that we have a creatine inborn error. They'll take 6 grams a day for, 3 years. So we know it's safe, but it's just one of those things that if you're from a business standpoint, just make sure that you cover your bases on that. And if you go to our PDSRG and creatine, it's got our position on that and connected to ISSN's position. So if it's family, then there's no problem with anybody 16 and over.
Okay. Good deal. All right. Next question is coming from Jeans. Hey, Jean. Out at the edge. He wants to know, for female figure competitors, should they come off as stage date gets closer?
I always do. You know what? If the competition's on Saturday, I pull them on Tuesday. And you know what? I don't know how important that is. I mean, there is definitely some water retention. So it's just one of the things you do. When you cut the sodium, I cut sodium at noon on Wednesday for competitors. Keep it high up till Wednesday. Cut the creatine on Tuesday. Because that's the same thing I do when someone's going in for a blood test. Cut the creatine 4 days before the blood test, so your creatinine levels aren't falsely high, because that's what will happen. It's just a creatinine from the creatine. That has nothing to do with you. So we do the same thing with our athletes that have to go through physicals and so forth to make sure they're off it there. So yeah, I would say Tuesday before.
Cool. Okay. From Hawaii is weighing in. Bernice, you're always here. You're so dedicated, right? So,
yeah, Bernice.
So she's just a little bit more about water retention. Could you give us a little bit more details about that? She gets that question all the time, Neil.
Well, I mean, creatine just, it brings water to the cell. It just has that, it works as an osmolyte that way. It allows a little more water into the cell, which is extremely positive. That's what you want if you want protein synthesis.
Right.
And that doesn't, but remember, that's in the cell. It's not extracellular. And that's where the kind of the falsities come around and the myths become around. Remember the myth about cramping on creatine, and that is not as it only a myth. It also is the opposite. There's 66% less cramping when you're using creatine than if not using creatine in football players and rugby players and all that. So we have the studies. That's all in the PDSRG as well. But the water retention is real, but it's in the muscle, so there shouldn't be really anything wrong other than the feeling of it. All people go, I feel bloated when I get on creatine. Well, it's just inside your muscle is getting pumped up with what you want.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. But you don't really want that on stage, so you might as well just drop it right before.
Right. Okay, great. Okay, another question is it still best to split the dosage before and after a workout?
Yes, it is. Creatine right now, if you look at everything new on the studies of creatine, the most important dosage is the one post-workout, not even pre. Because don't forget, you're saturated already. You've already loaded, and your body's full. So you keep it full for the whole 12, 16, 18 weeks, however long you're going to be on it. So the most important one is the one of the day will be the one right after a workout. They found that that's the one that gets the most done for you. And especially in the protein synthesis period when that window is wide open. So that was one of the most important. But I always want two. I don't like just a 1 5-gram dose there. I want two throughout the day to keep it there. So I always go 10 as a max. And again, I know I'm a little more aggressive than most because I work with pro athletes and most of them are big. So if you do the math on it, you'll see by pound, which is in the PDSRG, that you actually do need a little bit more than that for your average power athlete. So that's why I would always say the most important one, if you only do one, it will be right after the workout.
Wonderful. Okay. Here's another one. Randy wants to know, how long should you cycle it on or off for?
Yeah, that's another tough question because people say there are people that have been on creatine for 10 years, 15 years, and I'm not exaggerating. They've studied Parkinson's with it for 5 years. So we see no deleterious effects from creatine long term. In fact, now, of course, as you know, doctors are recommending it now for the elderly population, whether you work out or not, to stave off sarcopenia. So there's no real reason to have to get off it. That's the question. Do I have to get off it because my workouts suffer and I don't want to get off it? But the real answer to that question is you don't want to train at that level all year. So cycle it with your periodization so that you're up. You go 12, 16, 18 weeks, whatever it is. And if you're a football player, I usually have you on it all the way up till camp, and then the maintenance dose during camp, and then maybe going off right when the season starts because the 5 pounds of loss of water, but you still have all the muscle. Your vertical goes up about an inch. And you're a little more powerful because you might have everything the same, but you're a little lighter. It's like taking a 5-pound dumbbell and throwing it away. So those are the type of things that. That's how you would use it. So it really depends on your season. If you're a competitive athlete, when you use it, if you're a recreational athlete, but you're really you're a strength recreational athlete or any of that, you cycle it around your training the way you would train for your competition, and try to go off it for maybe anywhere from where you taper off it and then go off it for 4 to 6 weeks, then go back on for 12, 14, go off it for 4 to 6, 2 to 3 cycles a year.
Yeah. And if you look at real closely at the PDSRG and the related data with beta-alanine, ideally you're going to want to take it for 4 weeks to get your maximum elevation in carnosine levels. Then, of course, with creatine, using the loading phase to maximize your creatine storage. So 4 to 6 weeks, cycle on and off a couple of times a year, 2-3 times a year, right, Neil?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, more questions are coming in. How would you describe using this for people to lose weight, like in a weight loss challenge?
I say that again, I'm sorry.
How would you describe using this for people to lose weight, like a weight loss challenge?
I'll tell you right now, if I was on a weight loss program, I'd use it because it would save as much muscle as possible during that. But if I'm on I should have said, if I'm on a fat loss program, I would use it. On a weight loss program, I would probably end up putting muscle on during the weight loss, which means I would lose. So I would offset. I gain 5 pounds of muscle and lose 5 pounds of fat, which obviously, as we all know, is frickin' ideal.
Yes.
I mean, any athlete begs for that. Any person that knows anything about human physiology would know that's the greatest thing in the world, and we can do that with supplements. So if you're going for a weight loss, yeah, probably not. You know what I mean? Just take ExtremeCreatineXXXL, mainline that, and but do take your multi and amino boost. Use amino boost before and after the workout.
So Neil, just to sort of, get a little bit granular here with that, like, is it feasible to take this product to intensify your workouts, right? Burn more calories and then come off of it to get rid of the weight, before you step on the scale, let's say in a challenge?
Well, that answers just to the water weight, though. What I'm saying is that if you're using muscle, listen, I would never lose weight without muscle building products. I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't be able to hold on to muscle during that, right? I mean, you know, no, of course, no bodybuilder would do that, or, you know, power lift or anything. So we would use something this if we needed, even if we needed to lose weight. And then to your point, you would just go off it to make weight. You know, you like your 5 pounds of water. That's all you're going to lose.
Right.
So if you're saying weight, and everything is by weight rather than body composition, then you're better off, you know, not using it just to lose weight. But again, most of your weight loss challenges in our clubs anyway that I know, they're using body fat as the weight. If they use that, then it's a win. Then it's a win. You could use it.
Okay. All right. Alex. Hey, Alex from Gold. She wants to know, are there any nutrient interactions with other supplements?
Not with these. Either 3 of these, there's really nothing from a nutrition standpoint at all. You'd have to go to the PDSRG to see whatever, and if there's any medication interference. So I think I've listed a few in there and a couple things, but it's pretty benign all the way around. No, there's no regular nutrient interactions from creatine, glutamine, or beta-alanine that we're aware of.
Okay, cool. All right. James has another question for us. He's been doing 8 pills and 1 scoop of monohydrate pre and post workout. What's the max I can go with the new XXXL?
Yeah, you can go with, yeah. I mean, you're doing the right numbers on that. I just heard that. Those are the right numbers. You got 5 before, 5 after, then you got the Creatine XXL 3 before and 3 after, because that's what it was. That was 6 grams in the 16. So yeah, you can do 4. Like I said, you can do 4 scoops. You know, it's not, the only thing that would stop you from going up to 4 scoops is if you don't like the tingling. The tingling is benign. I mean, it's been going on forever. Most powerlifters love it. Most people actually think it's the best thing that ever happened. It's not tingling. It's, paresthesias is what it's called, and it's beta-alanine will do that. But if you break it up, so here's a little tip for you. If you break those 4 scoops up into like 8 scoops, so half a scoop, half a scoop, half a scoop, you could probably avoid the tingling. And you would get all of your, and then now you got all the creatine you need, your 10 grams, you've got your 6 grams, 6.4 grams of beta-alanine, and you got 14 grams of creatine, or glutamine. So you're in pretty good shape. So that's where you would do it. Okay.
And then a follow-up question to that is, he's saying pre-post workout, is that the best way to take it?
Yes, it is. On workout days, for sure. You always want to take it before and after.
Okay.
For sure.
Another question, is it best to take this with a carb source to maximize results?
Yeah, okay. We always said carbs because when you go back to the early 90s, when Greenhalgh first did all those studies, they've realized that, insulin plays a big part in it. So we were always told to take it with a lot of carb, actually. But we also know that most people can't even eat that much carbs unless you're an endurance athlete, before and after workouts. So what they've really found out is just needs insulin. So protein alone does that. Protein is an insulin spike on its own. Leucine spikes insulin all by itself. So even amino boost can jump it up a little bit. So you're fine just using a protein if you want. But I always like a little carb in a pre-workout, and if you're an athlete, of course, first string's the ideal one. Then you got everything covered. Your 2-to-1 ratio there. But there's enough. Just if you use whey alone, whey smooth alone, you've got plenty of the protein that will spike the insulin to help get the creatine where you want it, and you'll also get you got a little bit of carb in there as well. The maltodextrins, which are very fast going, which is exactly what you want before and after a workout, of course. So yeah, a little bit of carb I always put down that, but you can get away with protein only. Cool.
And then Rob wants to know if this will help him from getting beat up in jiu-jitsu.
I hope so. I need it out there.
Yeah.
It'll help you recover for absolute sure. We got the whole Gracie Baja up here, and we're, as you know, Rob, world-class guys, and my other son trains up there at Fight Club up there. Those guys all mainline it, whole places. Oh, they got all their dot fit stuff all lined up everywhere.
Okay, so Byron's got a technical question for you. Beta-alanine and taurine, he's saying, can be somewhat antagonists in the body, and beta-alanine can possibly deplete taurine levels. So should we supplement with extra taurine to mitigate this effect?
If that's true, and I don't know if I ever found that when I did all the research on beta-alanine. Well, that was a couple years ago, so maybe somebody's found something since then. If you want to send me the science on that, I always tell you, again, I'm always careful of the source. So obviously you're a great source. I didn't mean you. I meant wherever you're reading it. I worry about it. If you're reading it in a muscle magazine, then of course it just goes in the garbage can. But if there's a study that showed that, and they did it with athletes, in a certain amount of beta-alanine did that, then that's something that I would look into for sure. And then taurine is very important. Taurine is sort of an underappreciated sort of amino acid, if you will, even though you can actually call it a vitamin structure more than anything else, because it's a conditionally essential. But it's extremely essential now, we know, for aging. So taurine is getting a lot of good studies and a lot of good science. And if you look at what I wrote in the Workout Extreme with it, so that may be a good way for you to get it there. That's why I tripled the amount of taurine in Workout Extreme. So if that's the case, I'd love to see it and send it to me, because I just haven't seen it yet. And I'm sure I will probably next time I do the studies when I go to update everything else. But I would like to see that. And then send that to me. And if that's the case, then why not? Because I don't think you can get enough taurine, to tell you the truth. And I mean that.
Okay. James still wants to know about glutamine. Do we need some extra muscle defender now that this has got glutamine in it, dosages?
Well, you know what I like 20 grams of glutamine split 3 times a day. That's what I like. But you're getting enough at 7, and if you're going to double it at 14, you're getting enough for almost anybody other than ultra endurance athlete. I think they need 20. Because don't forget, the first thing glutamine does is it really protects the integrity of the intestinal tract. So the reason it takes 20 grams, because only 2 or 3 are going to get in the body. The rest of it, the intestinal tract gets first. It uses glutamine as an energy source. And those cells replace themselves every 3 days. They're the fastest replacing cells in the human body. And so they've got to stay tighter. You get the leaky gut, you get all the other things that that aren't really good. If your gut doesn't work, nothing works. And we learned that almost 80% of our immune system is supported by our gut through all the little connections that go from our stomach, from our intestines, all the way to our vagus nerve, all the way up through our immune system. So that's why it takes that much, and you're not going to get that support under very stressful conditions until you get around 20 grams, 30 grams. So that's what I like on that. But for standard workouts, you're going to be good with 7 and 14 grams.
So very stressful conditions, as in contest prep, dieting down for a show, Neil?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So there you go.
So you would take muscle defender with it.
Right.
In fact, my son asked me that this morning. Hey, now that we have this, do you want me to add muscle defender to it? I go, yeah, you're still going to need 2 scoops of that. Okay,
there you go. Yeah. Contest prep especially is quite stressful.
Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it otherwise, Yeah.
All right, so it looks like we've come to the end of questions. If people have more, please type those in. I know we've got some specials going on, do we not, with CreatineXXXL still?
Oh, yeah, we do. So, the tablets are going to be available even after this goes live December 5th. And the tablets will still be available, and we're pretty much going to be giving them away, right? Just buy one, you get one free. So if you know anybody that wants it, keep pushing, getting those. Otherwise, I'm stuck with about $50,000 of inventory. But you guys did a great job. I will tell you this. You've done a great job since I was telling you about moving it, because we had a ton there. And I was going to wait till the end, but I know everybody's too excited. I'm getting hammered. I got death threats for not having come out with this thing fast enough. So I'm releasing it early, and I'll take the financial hit. And then I got to send all you guys some too now.
Okay, great. Cool. If you haven't downloaded the presentation, you can still do that in the handout section of the GoToWebinar window. There's 2 PDFs. The presentation, as well as the 1-page sort of flyer on this to help educate your clients and your colleagues and coworkers. You already got Chad's email, chad@dr.com. If you want a free one, send that to him.
They're blowing it up. They're blowing it up right now. You'll all get yours.
Yeah, cool. And then Neil, are we doing a product of the month next month in December?
Not anymore. We nailed it. Maybe we'll do there's something to talk about with the bars other than I'll taste it and go, oh, it's really good. Okay, so I don't know what we'll do there. I don't know. I haven't even thought about it, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, we will. We'll do something. We'll do something. We'll figure it out and get it to you. But you know what? I don't know if it'll be before Christmas.
Right.
Yeah, probably do it, you know, maybe in between because it'll be quieter in the gyms. And we apologize for doing this on the 30th, by the way. We kind of had to based on our scheduling and everything else. So I know this closeout in the gyms, and you know, we're always respectful of that. But I can't believe how many people got on. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I haven't picked it yet, but we'll think of something. And I want to say, happy holidays, everybody.
Yes.
It's been a fantastic year. Thanks to you guys.
It absolutely is. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on the webinar today. Look out in your emails for the next one, and hope you all enjoy the weekend.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.